Coming up in the news this morning, China's Tangjiashan barrier lake continues to drain, and experts say the dam is not in danger of collapsing. Meanwhile, China and India join an international agreement on oil reserves as a countermeasure to soaring world prices. Iraq's Prime Minister visits Iran for talks expected to focus on a proposed security deal. And over in the US, Hillary Clinton endorses Barack Obama to be the Democrats' presidential candidate. Thanks for joining us. We've just gone 8 in the morning here in Beijing, and I'm James Chow with the latest world news. Now, here in China, more than 46 million people have now been confirmed to be impacted by the May 12 Sichuan earthquake. The death toll now stands at 69,134. More than 370,000 people have been injured, and more than 17,000 are still missing. More figures for you now. In the 24-hour period before noon on Saturday, 3 aftershocks were reported, measuring between 4 and 4.9. 175 tremors, meanwhile, were under 3.9 in the same period. Donations from home and abroad now total nearly 44 billion yuan. The Information Office says 13 billion of that has reached the quake-affected areas. Some better news now. Water is now flowing at nearly 10 cubic meters a second through the sluice channel at the Tangjiashan Quake Lake. That's 5 times faster than the initial 2 meters per second. Soldiers blasted off a boulder in the man-made sluice channel on Saturday afternoon as they sped up the drainage.
The drainage of the Tangjiashan barrier lake started early on Saturday morning as its water began to flow into a man-made sluice channel. Experts said the lake's dam is not in danger of collapsing in the foreseeable future, and that no other overflow areas have emerged. No heavy rainfalls are expected until mid-June, which will also help the quake relief work, and the likelihood of a strong aftershock measuring 6 or more on the Richter scale remains slight. Soldiers are still widening and deepening the channel with 30 bulldozers and excavators to speed up the drainage. They are also digging a second sluice channel. The overflow had been expected to occur on Friday night when the water level reached the top of the original barrier, but it was delayed by a 0.6-meter high temporary dam erected on Friday afternoon to protect workers dredging the spillway. The swollen lake was formed by a massive landslide following last month's earthquake. It held over 220 million cubic meters of water and posed a threat to about 1.3 million people downstream. Hundreds of armed police and soldiers worked for 6 days and nights to dig a channel to divert water from the lake. More than 250,000 people in low-lying areas in Mianyang were relocated under a plan based on the assumption that a third of the lake's volume would breach its banks. Liu Yanhua, CCTV.
Now, the danger is not quite over yet because water released from Tangjiashan is seen as a big threat to the Baoji-Chengdu rail line. It's an important route for relief materials going into the earthquake zone. As Yuan Xiaoyan tells us, soldiers are using artillery to guard this essential lifeline.
This is not an attack on the battlefield, but a preventative measure against a natural threat. Only 70 kilometers away from the unstable barrier lake at Tangjiashan, the section of Baoji-Chengdu Railway over the Fujiang River lies directly in the path of possible destruction. Floodwaters carrying large objects could destroy this critical part of railway network in western China, a major transportation channel for relief and reconstruction supplies after the earthquake. Hydrologists estimate that raging floodwater could reach this section of railway 4 hours after Tangjiashan Lake burst its banks, leaving little time to prepare a defense of this lifeline. Artillery troops are ready to protect the bridge by bombarding any large floating objects that could be washed down by the flooding. A bend in the river slows the flow of water here, making this the best position to take aim. Soldiers are equipped with artillery and RPGs. Their mission is fraught with difficulty.
The first problem is the rapid flow of water, which at 4 to 8 meters per second makes it difficult to take aim. Second is the time. The dam may burst at night in the darkness, but we've prepared a searchlight to help us aim.
This is the first time firearms are being used in response to quick-related threats, and safety is the top concern. The troops have made plans to deal with any possible dangers that could occur. The soldiers practiced for the mission on Friday, and they're ready to defend the railway against any quick-related disasters. Yuan Xiaoyuan, CCTV.
We'll of course be updating you on that developing story. Meanwhile, a couple more quick reports. Experts say the current work on Tangjiashan will not disrupt the country's longest oil pipeline, which winds its way from Lanzhou to Chongqing. The pipeline is 60 kilometers downstream from the lake. To protect the supply, troops have been sent to the city of Jiangyou to prevent any possible threats. The pipeline provides 70% of product oil to Sichuan and its neighboring municipality of Chongqing. There's lots of hope still ahead, though. At the end of last month, builders began work on a home for the elderly, children and the disabled who lost their families in the earthquake. In just 8 days, the main structure of that welfare home in the city of Shifang has now been finished. My colleague Sun Xiaolong takes a look at that.
This welfare home will have room for more than 200 people. The Beijing municipal government provided the financial and material support. It includes plenty of energy-saving and environment-friendly technologies.
This is an energy-saving house. The walls are made of materials which insulate sound and heat. The windows have double glazing, which also insulates heat and sound, and the houses can withstand an earthquake of 9 on the Richter scale and have a lifespan of more than 30 years.
In-house facilities considered both energy-saving and comfort.
Every unit has its own washroom and bedroom with an area of 20 square meters. Water is heated using solar power, and toilet bowls have smart flush buttons to save water. And the lights use energy-saving bulbs.
Leftovers from the dining table will be disposed of in an environmentally friendly way.
Our technology can process the leftovers into organic fertilizer or feed for poultry farms.
In keeping with local tradition, the houses are being built with a yard in the middle to make it easier for people living here to communicate with each other. Xun Xiaolong, CCTV.
Well, this weekend is the Dragon Boat Festival, otherwise known as Duanwujie. Chinese from right across the country sent gifts to survivors in the earthquake areas to help them enjoy this holiday too. This report from Liu Yanhua.
This girl is calling people to come and get zongzi, the traditional food for the Dragon Boat Festival. Volunteers from Chongqing Municipality came to Dujiangyan City distributing zongzi, eggs and other gifts to quake survivors.
We brought over 26,000 zongzi and 13,000 eggs overnight from Chongqing. We've given them to more than 2,000 people so far.
In another resettlement camp in Chengdu, parents washed their children with Chinese medicinal water. According to tradition, this is supposed to bring health to the children. These kids lost family members in the earthquake, but I believe in the big family of society, they will get the same love as other children. We hope this tradition will help these kids enjoy a healthy and happy life. Injured survivors also enjoy the festivity in hospital. In one performance, 67-year-old Liu Yulan sang a song for the patients. She spent a month writing it. I wrote this song with my pen and my heart. It's called We Chinese People Are Strong. Such scenes are common around the earthquake zone. People around the country wish the survivors a happy festival. Liu Yanhua, CCTV.
Well, that completes our extended earthquake coverage. Join us through the day for more on that, of course. In the meantime, let's cross to other reports. Not so good news here, though. Heavy rainstorms are continuing to drench parts of southern China. 3 students have been reported missing in Guangdong province, and Hong Kong has also been hit by flooding. Sun Wei tells us the rest.
3 students have been missing since heavy rainstorms hit the cities of Yangjiang and Jiangmen on Friday. Torrential rain like this hasn't been seen in almost 5 decades. Precipitation at Guangdong's 6 weather monitoring stations totaled more than 400 millimeters in 24 hours. Heavy rainstorms also hit Hong Kong. 16 people were injured. The storms have caused nearly 40 landslides and 125 floods in the special administrative region. Road traffic was disrupted and hundreds of flights were delayed. Chongqing City in southwestern China was also swept by torrential rains accompanied by gale-force winds and ice storms. The hail damaged 100 hectares of crops and vegetables. Yichang City in Hubei province saw thunderstorms on Friday, and many parts of the city suffered a blackout. The latest forecast says most parts of southern China will continue to experience heavy rains over the next 5 days when cold and warm currents meet. Sun Wei, CCTV.
Well, let's stay in that part of the country. The Hong Kong government has ordered the immediate cull of 2,700 poultry after detecting the H5N1 bird flu virus at a market. The trading of live poultry at the Shanshui Po market was suspended indefinitely after samples collected from some of the stalls there tested positive for the viral strain. Health officials declared the market an infected area and suspended all sales as authorities try to trace the origin of the infected bird. Secretary of Food and Health, Luo Chao, announced an immediate ban on poultry imports from the Chinese mainland and a stop to exports on chickens from Hong Kong farms. He warned Hong Kong authorities may consider a wide slaughter of live poultry if the bird flu virus was detected in other local locations. Now, Saturday saw the Olympic flame arrive in the city of Nanning, the capital of Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. Nanning has been officially recognized by the UN's Habitat Scroll of Honor. Let's take a look now at the Olympic flame's journey through the streets of a city known as China's Green City.
Among the spectators who are waiting to see the passing of the Olympic torch were ethnic groups in their colorful costumes and foreign students who are currently studying in China. There was a minute of silence in tribute to those who died in the Sichuan earthquake. The first torchbearer of the Nanning stop was Olympic champion weightlifter Wu Shudi, who was also the first Olympic title holder from his province. Wu passed the torch to Mo Huilan, who was China's first gold medalist on the beam in the 1995 World Gymnastic Championship. Mo Huilan also is the first woman to perform the Gaylord Salto, a high-difficulty front flip on uneven bars, which is now called the Mo Salto.
It feels the same as when I came back from the Olympic Games more than 20 years ago. So the torch relay reminds me of those good old times.
I am both happy and excited, but the running was a little too short. However, it is peace and love as well as the Olympic spirit that we're passing on. This is one torch relay I'm going to remember all my life.
Along with celebrities, the other torchbearers of the 208-people team included people from all walks of life, such as firemen and police officers who are just back from relief work in Sichuan's quake regions, and other unsung heroes and kind-hearted folks who sacrificed their own interests to help others. The 15-kilometer-long route features Nanning's Mingzu Dadao, the most representative scenic boulevard of the city, which is really full of green.
A spot of business now. China and India have agreed to join a worldwide agreement on oil reserves as they deal with turbulent prices. They made that commitment at a meeting of energy ministers held in Japan. Li Chong is the latest on that.
Energy officials from India, China, the United States, Japan, and South Korea gathered on Saturday in Aomori to discuss a series of energy issues, such as countermeasures against rocketing crude oil prices. They agreed that the sharp surge in oil prices was a menace to the world economy, and more petroleum should be produced to meet rising demand.
Oil prices recently exceeded $130 per barrel. I think it's abnormal, and it poses a great risk not only to energy security but also to the global economy.
They decided to take a series of measures to cope with the problem, including improving the investment environment, strengthening energy-saving efforts, expanding oil stockpiles for emergency use, and developing forms of alternative energy. Zhao Guoba, vice chairman of China's National Development and Reform Commission, said China has adopted an active stance on optimizing its industrial structure. He said China is promoting energy efficiency by eliminating outdated productivity and increasing the use of atomic energy, wind power, solar energy, and biofuels. IEA members say they will help China and India establish an oil stockpile system and bring in techniques about how to use the reserves. The meeting was held the day before the Group of 8 Energy Ministers meeting and the G8 plus China, South Korea, and India Energy Ministers meeting. Li Xiong, CCTV.
Much more here on CCTV. Join us after the break with these stories still ahead. When we come back, we'll tell you about this. Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki visits Iran as they discuss security issues with the country's leaders. And U.S. Senator Hillary Clinton gives her full support to Barack Obama in his bid to become the next U.S. president. All those stories and much more. Don't go away.
Party I planned, but I sure like the company.
Love's truest moments, the Chinese collar is my only choice. True love for real men. The 7-brand Chinese collar True Love series.
Happy China, wonderful Jilin.
Thousand Island Lake. The ideal place to relax. Hangzhou. Discover the mystery of China.
An intimate rendezvous with nature. Futushan, China. CCTV 9, China's only English-language news channel, broadcasts throughout China and across the globe. CCTV Golden Bridge is CCTV International's exclusive advertising agent and can put your company in touch with an audience of millions.
We're back with the latest world news live on CCTV. Now we're going to take you for a quick trip through the Middle East. Lots of stories from that region. Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki has arrived in Tehran for talks with leaders there. They're going to focus on a proposed security deal that Iran fears will keep the US military in neighbouring Iraq for years to come. Now, ahead of that visit, al-Maliki's party sought to calm worries by insisting that the agreement would not allow foreign soldiers to use Iraq as grounds to invade another country, a clear reference to Iranian fears of a US attack. Al-Maliki is also set to discuss exporting oil as well as importing electricity and water for his country. An Iraqi government spokesman said al-Maliki's visit is one of a series of trips aimed at developing friendship between the two neighbours. Let's stay with Iraq. A suicide car bomb and a car packed with explosives have targeted police patrols in the capital, Baghdad. At least 6 people have now been confirmed dead. Police say the suicide bomber targeted a police patrol in the Zur Square on the west side of Baghdad. A civilian and a policeman were killed and another 5 people were wounded. The other explosion took place at nearly the same time right across town at a crowded bus stop. Police say the target was the passing convoy with top Iraqi general. 4 police were killed and 18 others, including Brigadier General Nazar Majid, were wounded in that attack. French leader Nicolas Sarkozy was in Lebanon Saturday, promising ongoing commitment to that country. Sarkozy said the Arab League has helped Lebanon overcome its political crisis with efforts from all parties involved. He says France will soon send delegates to Beirut to discuss cooperation and aid. Meanwhile, Lebanese President Michel Suleiman said the Arab brokered Doha Accord has returned political stability. He says he'll continue to work on restoring peace. Sarkozy is the first Western head of state to meet the newly elected president, who only took office just last month. From the US, Hillary Clinton has endorsed Senator Barack Obama to be the Democratic presidential candidate. Clinton suspended her own White House bid less than a week after the Illinois senator secured enough support to win that nomination. Zhang Rui has that story.
Hillary Clinton's endorsement of Obama is the first step in efforts to reunite the Democratic Party after a divisive 5-month nominating battle. Speaking to a large crowd of supporters at a rally in Washington, D.C., Clinton says she is throwing her full support behind him. Some 6,000 people signed up on her website to attend the speech at the National Buildings Museum. Obama will be crowned the Democratic nominee at the party's August nominating convention and will face Republican Senator John McCain in November's election to choose a successor to President George W. Bush. Obama will be the first black presidential nominee of a major U.S. political party. 60% of Clinton supporters will vote for Obama, but 17% say they will vote for McCain. Nearly 22% said they wouldn't vote at all if Clinton were not the Democrats' nominee. Zhang Rui, CCTV.
Let's stay with that story after Clinton finally backed Obama. Well, supporters of Hillary Clinton have reacted with mixed emotions, but most say they agree with her endorsement of Barack Obama as the ultimate Democratic choice. It's been a long and grueling race, ending with Clinton coming up shy.
I have very mixed emotions. I am very happy that our country will nominate a black man for president. I only wish they were nominating Hillary Clinton for president. But I think she's a great woman, and she has done a great job as New York Senator, and I am hoping that she will be the vice presidential candidate. I would be much happier voting the Democratic ticket if she were the vice presidential candidate.
I think there's a lot of emotions here today. I think a lot of people are upset and bitter. And I think a lot of people just want to see her and are willing to give their support to whoever she supports.
Regardless, I totally support Obama. I'm going to vote for him. I'm going to try to get my friends to vote for him. I think it'll be more of an uphill battle, but here we go. I'm ready.
A stay in the U.S. Saturday saw storms dump up to 10 inches of rain on the central state of Indiana. Flash flood warnings were also issued for 15 counties. Officials in 4 central Indiana counties have now declared emergencies, and shelters have been set up for hundreds of locals who've been forced from their homes by rising water levels. No injuries or deaths have yet been reported. The U.S. Coast Guard has sent 2 rescue helicopters to Indianapolis. A scuba team has been dispatched to help evacuate homes in Johnson County. Dams in that area were failing in the Princess Lakes region. Cars also submerged up to their windshields. Flooding on the White River in Indianapolis could reach levels comparable to the historic flood of 1913. Stay with us for the world weather coming up just after this. One more quick story. Trouble flared between rival fans in the small Austrian state of Klagenfurt on Saturday, ahead of this weekend's Euro 2008 match between Germany and Poland. Riot police made at least 3 arrests from a chanting and shouting crowd. Security has been beefed up with police patrolling the streets and setting up roadblocks. About 2,000 private security personnel will back up 2,500 officers in the city. Klagenfurt officials said there were no plans for heavy-handed tactics. They say they simply want to keep the fans apart at the new 30,000-seat Wurzelfeld Stadium. Now here's that world weather we've been promising you. Lots of rain in the central US state of Indiana and also in parts of southern China, including Hong Kong. Let's find out more on that and the weather, of course, in your parts of the country. Jennifer Eden is here with that.
Thanks. Looking first to China and the quake-hit region. Now today, after experiencing the heaviest bout of rain since the earthquake, the region will generally see cloudy skies and day highs between 25 and 30 degrees. Highs in eastern areas will be over 30 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy skies will continue. Now today and tomorrow, southern China will be pretty wet. Today, southern Guizhou, northern Guangxi through to southern Anhui and western Zhejiang will see heavy to torrential downpours. Guangdong and Guangxi will see rain decrease to moderate to heavy intensity falls. Tomorrow, heavy rain will continue over areas south of the Huaihe River. Heavy to torrential downpours will hit southern Yunnan, northern Guangxi, through to southern Jiangsu and northern Zhejiang. Places along the banks of the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River will see 2 days of very heavy rain. Temperature-wise today, due to the wet weather, most of the south will see day highs below 30 degrees. In contrast, under clear sunny skies, much of northern China will see day highs over 30 degrees. Turning now to North America, and today moderate to heavy rainfall over the continent will move east, covering Quebec, eastern Ontario through to Wisconsin. Now the heaviest rain will hit Wisconsin with heavy to extremely heavy intensity falls expected there, along with thunderstorms. For eastern parts of the US, today clear skies and hot conditions will continue. Now the hot weather will intensify over the next 2 or 3 days. Now World City forecasts.
Here's the great weather wherever you are. I'll be back at 9 a.m. and 12 noon with more world news. My next update in half an hour's time. Do join us then. I'm James Chow in Beijing. Thanks for watching. See you again shortly.